The first professional magic gig I ever did, I almost quit. It was in the Huntsman Bar in County Galway, and they were knocking it down and they were going to rebuild it. So they were having a kind of a last hurrah party, and me and another magician were invited along to do some magic. So I went up to my first table and I asked someone to pick a card. So this gentleman picked a card, and let's say he picked the seven of spades. Okay, so he put it back in on top of the deck, and I gave it a shuffle, gave it a mix, and I was starting to settle down a wee bit. I was starting to kind of calm down, and I wasn't so nervous. And I was giving them a few shuffles, and I was giving the cards a few cuts, and then all of a sudden, from out of nowhere, this gentleman, he grabbed my wrist, and he took the deck off me really aggressively, and he started looking at me, and he started doing this, and he started mixing up my deck, fronts to backs and backs to fronts, and making an absolute mess of my deck. And then he handed it back and said, "Now," he said, "find the card." And I was just standing there. I was like a deer in headlights, and I didn't know what to do because the deck was a mess. And asking a magician to find a card in the deck like this is like breaking a snooker player's cue and then saying play a game. It's almost impossible. And as you can see here, you got like backs to fronts, you've got fronts to backs, you got backs to backs. So I'm just standing there and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm quitting. This is not for me. And then Quentin came over, Quentin Fallon, the magician I was working with, and he said, "Hey, what's going on?" He seen that something was wrong with me. And I said, "Oh, this gentleman's after messing up my deck, and I don't know what to do." And Quentin took the deck, and he's right-handed, I'm left-handed, so he holds the deck in his left hand, and he shook the cards, and to this day I don't know how he did it, but all of a sudden, all of the cards had righted themselves. Every single card was pointing the right way, except, as you can see, except for one. And the kind of drunken gentleman who had picked the card originally said, yeah, that was good, but you forgot one. And then Quentin said, "Oh, what was the card that William asked you to pick?" And he said, "The seven of spades." And that was the card. That was the only one turned over in the deck. And then Quentin gave me back my deck like this. He fixed it up nice and neat. Squaring the deck is what we call it. He squared the deck, gave it back to me, and he said, "There's a lovely table over there who'd like to see some magic, Billy." And I went over and I had a great time, great night after that. It was fantastic. But I remember looking over and seeing Quentin, and he had this gentleman in the palm of his hand. He was having a great time. He was laughing, and he was just really enjoying himself. I learned a really big lesson that night is to never quit in yourself. Never ever give up. And I'm so happy that Quentin was there that night, because I don't know, maybe I wouldn't be doing magic now, and that would be a horrible thought. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again. Bye bye.